Greetings petrolheads, welcome back to Automation, the car company Tycoon game. Today I will show you a 2020 concept. You know, 2020 hindsight always knows best, whatever you say. It's the 10th generation of the Athena CL, a large coupe. Excuse me. It uses the same body shell that the CL8 and 9 used, but I just started from scratch. Used different morphings and a lot of different and just very different fixtures and whatnot to, you know, start from the ground up and create something new and fresh. As far as color choice goes, man, I just couldn't decide on what color to give this thing, because again, like, the paint, like the exterior paint is really where you see that Automation is using an old game engine. It's basically been the same since 2010, and that's what gets me even more excited to hear that finally they're actually making some good progress towards porting this game over to excuse me, over to the Unreal Engine, which is gonna look really nice. And finally we're gonna have the ability to create modern cars that also look modern, because even, you know, the fixtures, I mean, the way the headlights, for example, are designed is kind of modern, but somehow it doesn't, it's not, I don't know how to describe it, it's not polished, not shiny enough, not like striking enough to really make it look like it could be real. But in any case, let's get into the mechanics of this car. It uses an aluminium monocoque, longitudinal placement, double wishbone front suspension, multi-link rear suspension, carbon fiber panels. So not necessarily new there, and neither is the rear drive system that we're still using for the CL. But the rear end, I guess you might like that. I'm personally quite fond of it with those taillights. They look futuristic for sure, and yeah, I'm liking them. Let me know what you think. So under the bonnet there is a revised version of the 2016 Hercules V12. If I haven't done this already, I will give it a little bit more quality in the fuel system and also in the exhaust system, so that we produce less emissions. And now we're making 751 horsepower. Let's reduce this by one. No, I wanna keep it at 750. So can I do this? Yes, I can. So now I'm gonna do that. Okay. Yeah, now we're making the 750 horsepower a little bit later, but wait, what if we do... What if we do this? And then this? Okay. I could also reduce the boost just a fraction. No, I don't want to. I want to have more than 700 pound-feet of torque. That's a ridiculous number, and it's well, it would suit this car. So overall, let's get going further. We have a 7-speed double clutch gearbox with an electric diff. We have +10 quality on the gearbox section to, you know, I was kind of getting more into adding more quality sliders for Athena cars, because, you know, they are expensive cars, and you know, I can always talk about their great build quality and whatnot, but if I'm not actually gonna increase the quality sliders anywhere, then it's not authentic, really. I don't wanna use quality on the interior though, because it adds too much weight for my likings. In any case, We got 295 sports tires up front, 335 sports tires rear, 20-inch carbon fiber rims, and carbon fiber or carbon ceramic brakes as well. And then we have a fully clad under tray with a little bit of aerodynamic quality as well. We have slightly more cooling airflow than we need. Okay, gonna use cooling flaps as well, because that's gonna help economy. Handmade interior, luxury heads-up display, advanced 20 safety, and then active sport springs, and pretty standard stuff here. Overall, 59 comfort is really good actually, and this is a rather heavy car, so this would, I don't know what this would compete against, because the Ferrari F12 successor that they haven't announced yet, but I'm sure will be out by 2020. That car is probably gonna be like, it's probably gonna make like 850 horsepower or something like that, because the F12 already makes 740, and the F12 TDF, the Tour de France, the faster version, basically the quote-unquote GTO version of the F12, which isn't a GTO, but you can think of it that way. That already makes 780 horsepower, which is more than this one. So you can't really be competing with that. Maybe a new Aston Martin Vanquish would be a suitable competitor for this. I don't know. Excuse me. So the big thing, the big number about this car is the top speed. 375 kilometers an hour is really fast. And again, 0 to 100 could be quicker in real life, but it doesn't have the grip in the game, so it's gonna spin its wheels like crazy. That's 200 miles an hour or so on top of 6th gear, and then it's gonna shift again into 7th. I mean, 200 miles an hour is faster than the top speed that most road cars are ever gonna reach. But this has another gear once it reaches 200 miles an hour, and it goes all the way up to 375 kilometers an hour. It's like 231, 232 miles an hour. So yeah, the top speed of this thing is really, really fast. And the economy, now that we've added cooling flaps, is actually not that bad at all. And markets, it'll do very well in the hypercar segment, in the luxury premium segment, in the convertible super segment, and GT premium. And at the price of $160,400, it's pretty much where you'd expect an Aston Martin to sit, right? Maybe it's a little bit below that, but we could add a little bit more. So it's at 200,000. That's where you'd expect your high-end Aston Martins to sit, right? Yeah. So with this V12, we're making so much torque, man, and you could see it when accelerating. Once the wheel spin kind of stopped in 3rd, or let's say the acceleration from 4th through all the way through 6th gear, that was just absolutely mind-bending. The way this thing pulls. And I actually clocked the 0 to 200 time and the 0 to 250 time already when you know, testing this car. And it does 0 to 200 in 10.1 or so, but it does 0 to 250 in 15 seconds. So between 200 and 250 kilometers an hour, it takes just 5 seconds. And that's just crazy. I mean, comparing that to a BMW M4, which is a fast car in its own right, it does 0 to 200 in 13.5, and then 0 to 200 in 13.5, yeah, and 0 to 250 in 24.5. So it takes 11 seconds between 200 and 250. And again, the M4 already feels like really, really rapid. But this does it in 5 seconds, the 200 to 250. Just to give you a little bit of an idea of how powerful this engine actually is. And that pretty much comes down to the way this power band looks. And if you can see here on the scaling, here's 665, this a second to last horizontal line here, and at 6,000 RPM we're pretty much at 700 horsepower already, which means after every shift, as long as you're above 6,000 RPM, you get more than 700 horsepower already. Actually, if we look at the left gauge here, you see that we will reach 700 horsepower even slightly before 6,000 RPM. And it obviously stays above 700 until the red line, so as long as you stay pretty much at or above 6,000 RPM after the shift, you'll always get 700 plus horsepower. And with the way this gearing is set up, yeah, pretty much from third gear onwards, when you're flat out accelerating, 700 plus horsepower always, all the time. That's why this thing just absolutely accelerates like crazy once it hooks up. Unfortunately, again, in this game, we don't have the longitudinal grip. And even with 335 sports tires on the rear, we get 33.8% wheel spin, and that wouldn't change significantly if I put 6 quality in here. It's still 32.2%. And that's too much. That's way more than it would make in real life, because these rear tires are massive. Yes, so is the torque, of course, but you know what, actually let's keep it at +6 quality for the tires. Seems fitting. So 4.2 seconds 0 to 100, quarter mile, we haven't clocked that yet. $11.7. So that's not super impressive for this kind of power in a rear drive GT car. But again, if it put power down a little bit better, it would be a lot quicker. Right, I think that's all there is to say to this car, the CL10 65T. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Leave a like or a comment if you did. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.